a bisexual lady, and it's fine. I do feel like the world is starting to accept bi women more, but unfortunately, a lot of the additional acceptance is coming from heterosexual married couples who are having a difficult time in their relationship. And I'll match with a lady on a dating app, and I'll try to say something normal. I'll be like, hey, what kind of music do you like? And she'll be like, can my husband watch us fuck? I really don't know what to say. It's just like, well, what kind of music does he like? So he's a very conventionally attractive woman and a man who looks like he kidnapped her. I'm like, do I need to go on this date to make sure she's okay? It's just like too much pressure because it's like not the first idea that they've tried. They've already been to therapy, read some books. By the time it gets to me, I'm supposed to like go in there, go down on someone, get railed, and teach two people with incredibly hardened resentments how to communicate with I statements. It's hard enough to make a woman come under normal circumstances. How much more so if the entire time I'm down there, I'm just like, fuck. If I don't pull this off, I'm gonna break up a family. What even happens to me if these people get a divorce? Like, who even gets me on the weekends? I had a threesome with a married couple once. They kept whispering, I love you to each other during it. And I was like, I don't think they're saying it to me. At the same time, what is the etiquette? Am I supposed to say it back? I try to keep it like, I love you guys. I think everyone assumes that women who are bi are poly. I have a lot of friends who are poly. I have a lot of friends who are also very traditional, married with a kid, and both of these groups keep trying to sell me on their lifestyle. And I am not doing either one of these things. I am holding out for an additional option where there's not a third person crying. I think part of the reason things are so messed up right now is because our billionaires, especially our tech billionaires, are worse than other billionaires. And I think it's because they're doing psychedelics. Like, do you know what drug rich guys are supposed to do? Coke, exactly. Good job, class. Coke is a way better drug for rich guys because the main thing that people want to do on Coke, so I've heard, is just more Coke. And now these MFs are doing like ayahuasca ceremonies and they're coming up with ideas like moving humanity to outer space to get around the labor laws. They're like, you know where there's no federal minimum wage? Oh, the moon. Like, I took mushrooms for the first time when I was in college, and I thought I had a very typical experience. I sat there, and I was looking at a tree, and I became a communist, you know? I just started thinking, oh, yeah, you know, what if we all lived in a stateless, classless, moneyless society where we all just shared? But some of these dudes are taking psychedelics and coming up with shit like, yeah, let's get rid of the schools. Like... What do you think an Elon psychedelic trip is like? He's just like, oh yeah, I just realized there's a very powerful, loving, benevolent force taking care of all of us. It's called the free market. I'll be real. I think psychedelics should be legal, but by prescription only. And that the prescription should come from the IRS. And that if you made over $500,000 last year, you shouldn't be allowed to have them because there's too much risk of you waking up in the morning and doing the thing that you thought of. Nobody should ever have enough money to implement the ideas that they thought of on psychedelics. Too dangerous. Like, you remember that guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, that stole everyone's crypto money? Okay, him and his polycule, side note, I don't believe Sam Bankman-Fried should have a polycule. In fact, I'm very old-fashioned. I believe that if you're a man who wants multiple girlfriends, you should have to learn to play a musical instrument. Sam Bankman-Fried and his polycule, they tried to buy the island nation of Nauru to create a super species of human there. And I'm like, I want my rich guys back to thinking about, you know, models and Porsches and mansions and not eugenics. Like, I've seen Wolf of Wall Street. I feel like back in the day when everyone was doing coke, they would just sit around and be like, oh yeah, I want to have sex with a model. And the other guy would be like, what are you, gay? Let's have sex with 4 models. And that was a simpler time. I'm not saying it was a perfect time. Sometimes one of those models disappeared, but I shouldn't have enough money to do my psychedelic ideas either. You know what I want to do every single time I'm on acid? I would like to have a conversation with my cat. Like where he talks back to me in English. And the reason that I want that is because he's such a little guy. Truly just a tiny little animal. So wonderful. But if I could really just be like, hey, buddy, what are you thinking about? And there was a microchip in him that would broadcast his thoughts to me. What are you thinking about? Murder. How about now? Killing smaller animals. Oh my God, would you kill me? He'd be like, yeah, if you were just a little smaller. And then my life would go from like living with this cuddly little best friend to all of a sudden I'm in my room with a sociopath, spending the rest of my days hoping that I never make a witch mad who curses me with a shrinking spell. It's you know, a normal person is gonna take psychedelics and be like, wow, I feel so connected to God. But like a tech billionaire, he's gonna take psychedelics and be like, wow, I realized I literally am God. I had made ChatGPT, but like making ChatGPT doesn't make you God because ChatGPT is not like a person. It can't love, it can't fuck, it doesn't feel empathy. So I do get why these guys are like, yes, I hath made this in my own image. I have a good boyfriend now, but before him, I dated this guy that was really annoying during COVID, and we were in a small room together for a year, and he was saying things to me. He'd be like, yeah, you know, I just really feel like monogamy is such a patriarchal and capitalist institution. And I would be like, did you cheat on me? And he would be like, yeah, in a feminist way. But he had a redeeming quality, which is that he loved to be dominated in bed, and I was really into it. I loved hitting him. I'm not sure it was in any way sexual for me. I loved shoving a gag in his mouth. I don't know if it was more of a fetish or a service to my country. But so after we broke up, I was very curious. I was like, am I into this stuff? Is this a kink that I have? And I was like, well, the only way that I'll ever know is if I run an experiment and try dominating a guy with a neutral to good personality. So that way, I can see if I'm into beating men for the love of the game. So I went on Field. You guys know what Field is? It's like Tinder for people who think Tinder makes you wait too long to fuck. And it was actually like choice paralysis because there's so many male subs that are looking for a woman to dominate them. The first guy I saw was probably like 26, and he said that he was looking for something called a mommy dom, and I matched with him just to ask, what is a mommy dom? What do you even want her to do? And he's like, you know, my dishes, my laundry. And I was like, this is a trick. And then I see this guy. Then I see this guy that seems pretty cute, pretty normal, likes hiking, just like me. We get into a conversation, and I'm feeling good about it until he reveals 2 deal-breaker fetishes to me. The first one was he wanted a woman to pee on him directly into his mouth. And the second one was even worse. He was super into the band Fish, and I'm like, we're not compatible. However, we had a mutual friend, and like a couple months later, I run into him in real life at this mutual friend's party. It's so awkward, but I'm like, oh, you know, how you doing? And he's like, I'm great. I'm going on tour with Fish this summer. And I was like, are you in the band? And he's like, no. And I was like, well, then it's not really called going on tour. He's like, I'm going on tour. And I was like, do you even play a musical instrument? He's like, no. I'm like, well, it's not called that. And this was like for a half an hour. Until finally I'm like, shit, this is how he gets women to pee in his mouth. And my last try, okay? I see this guy, super hot. He is a socialist, just like me. And the best part was, he said that his fetish was something called CBT, which I now know stands for cock and ball torture. He wants a woman to kick him in the nuts erotically. However, I believed at the time that he meant cognitive behavioral therapy. So I'm like, oh my God, I won heterosexuality. A boyfriend with a therapy fetish? All right, you guys, thank you so much.